If you're looking for 7 easy meal ideas, I got you covered. What is up, you guys? My name is Kira if you are new, and in today's video, I am back to share with you 7 super easy meal ideas. Today, we're going to do things as simple as making pizza. Pizza is one of our favorite things to make here in the house, but sometimes we like to spruce things up a bit with a little bit more flavor. We're also going to do things like make a super easy shrimp and pasta dish. I absolutely love shrimp, but I don't get to eat it often in my house with my husband's allergy. And so whenever I get the opportunity to eat some yummy shrimp, I definitely jump all over it. And then how about something like buffalo ranch chicken, where at least 90% of the ingredients are things you probably already have in your house. So now that you see how simple and easy this idea is, you're going to do it when you're cooking in your kitchen this week. And all of these ideas were brought to you by Every Plate. Now, this is not a sponsored video, you guys. They do not sponsor me. They probably don't even know that I exist. They're not paying me to say any of this. I just love them. Now, I always share my link in the description box below, which gets you your first box if you've never tried them for just $10. But I use them every single week to make delicious meals all of the time. Most of the time, it's lunch for us in this house. I've been using it to meal prep for my oldest or make lunches for myself, but I love what Every Plate has taught me. You do not need these kits, you guys. So many of you are intimidated by these kinds of videos. Many of you have stated in the comments that you usually don't watch these kind of videos because you're never going to get the service. But you don't need the service. You just need the inspiration. Just maybe watching a really simple meal idea just may change what you're making for dinner that night, or maybe a special meal that you want to make for your special someone. They really teach me so many different techniques and things that I never would have thought to try before, and then turn out to be super easy and super flavorful. So I'm going to bring you down to the counter in my kitchen, and I'm going to share with you 7 super easy meals that are cost effective and have a minimal product. I promise you guys, you will not be disappointed. So the first recipe we're starting off with is something I'm super excited about because I've been all over these flatbread pizzas. I get flatbreads from Trader Joe's all the time. And this is just a great way to make a really, really yummy, delicious topping that uses sweet Italian chicken sausage. So you can make this completely vegetarian or vegan by not using the chicken sausage, but I loved the flavor that it gave. And so we're going to start off by chopping up 3 cloves of garlic in a dice form. We're going to do thin slices of red pepper and then some slices of shallot. And we'll throw the shallot and the red pepper along with some olive oil and the Tuscan heat blend that they supply. You'll mix it up and throw it in the oven to roast. And in the meantime, while it's roasting, you'll throw that sweet Italian ground sausage into a saucepan and get it all cooked up. And then you're going to add your diced up garlic and a tablespoon of butter, and then the rest of that Tuscan heat blend, and mix it all together. You'd be surprised how fast this meat gets flavored. Once you've done that, you're going to add in the tomato paste and the cream cheese. I love that they give Philadelphia cream cheese now, and some water. And once you go ahead and mix that up, after it cooks on the stove for a little bit, it makes this thick and creamy and meaty topping for your flatbread. So you're going to throw your flatbread in the oven and just bake it for a little while, just to make it a little crispy for you to add this topping, because you can tell there's kind of liquid in that topping. And once it's crispy, then we'll begin to ladle this mixture on top. Now, because everyone was going to sample this pizza, I ended up only putting those roasted veggies on one piece. I'm the only one who really likes roasted veggies. Jake did enjoy it. Maya tried it, but most everybody wanted the basic plain pizza. So I put the roasted veggies just on one and topped it with the mozzarella, and then topped the mozzarella on just the other one, and then stuck it back in the oven just for everything to get all melty and toasty and crispy. And holy cow, you guys, do you know how quick it took to assemble this meal? In under 20 minutes, I had a delicious meal that tastes like it came fresh out of the pizzeria. Now for our next recipe, I talk to you guys all the time about how I depend on Every Plate for lunches. And these caramelized pineapple and beef rice bowls were perfect for me to meal prep for myself to have for 2 separate lunches. So the ingredients are pretty simple. You're going to need a poblano, some jasmine rice, some pineapple chunks, some lime, some garlic, some beef broth, some ground beef, some sour cream, an onion, and then you're also going to need their Southwest blend, which just consists of a garlic powder, cumin, and chili powder, which is essentially just a taco seasoning. And so let's start off by slicing our poblano and our onion and sticking it with some olive oil, salt, and pepper to roast in the oven. And then we're going to char our pineapple chunks, which is perfect for me because I burn everything. So once you get a good char on those pineapple chunks, you'll add a little bit of olive oil to that same pan. And then we're going to get our ground beef in there so that we can get it all browned up. Make sure to season it with salt and pepper. And then you're also going to put in that Southwest blend. And then we'll just go ahead and give that a good mix, and you can let it sit on the stove until it's all thoroughly cooked through. Once it's cooked through, we're going to go ahead and add your beef broth. Now they give a concentrate that you're going to add water to, but if you don't have a concentrate, it's perfectly fine to just use a regular beef broth. And while that simmers, we'll make a little lime crema, which is just sour cream, lime juice, water, and lime zest. You can also add a little bit of salt and pepper to that. And if you just mix it up and you make it almost like a drizzle, it works out perfect. And so I didn't share with you guys how to cook the rice, but I mean, it's pretty basic. You just take that packet of jasmine rice and cook it on the stove in water. So it's pretty simple. I didn't share with you that step, but I did go ahead and make the rice and I layered that on the bottom. And then I put that meat mixture on top. And then I put those roasted poblano and onions on top, and then added the pineapple and that drizzle of the lime crema with a little bit extra wedge of lime. Is just so delicious. You guys, these are perfect for lunches. I save the rest for myself for the next day, but any kind of Tex-Mex rice bowl is perfect for me for meal prep. Now, speaking of meal prep, I ended up meal prepping this for my oldest. It's a crispy buffalo ranch chicken, and I thought this would be perfect for 2 separate lunches for him. This is right up his alley, and it has honey roasted carrots and mashed potatoes and super simple ingredients, you guys. The potatoes and carrots for roasting, and then we have panko breadcrumbs, honey ranch, a red hot seasoning packet, some sour cream, and then the chicken cutlets. Now, obviously, if you can't get that red hot seasoning packet, it is perfectly fine just to use regular Frank's red hot. So you're going to take your potatoes and you're going to cut them in quarters, and then you're going to slice your carrots into chunks, and we're going to drizzle our potatoes and our carrots with a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper. It's amazing how far just salt and pepper and olive oil will go in seasoning things like potatoes and veggies when you're roasting them in the oven. And then now we're going to make the topping for our chicken. So melt a tablespoon of butter and then mix in those panko breadcrumbs. And then we're going to add in that red hot seasoning packet. So again, you can do butter and panko at home and a few drops of Frank's red hot, and you're going to mix those together. Now at this point, our potatoes and carrots have cooked themselves halfway through. So it's a perfect time to throw our chicken in. So we threw both of those chicken cutlets just the way they are, no slicing, onto the pan, and then we're going to cover them with ranch, which is going to absorb into the chicken, and it's also going to give it a way for this breadcrumb topping to stick. So now you're going to take half of your panko breadcrumbs and layer half on each of these chicken cutlets, and we're going to stick it back into the oven to finish its way cooking. You guys, let me just tell you how simple and easy this was. I know that if you like any kind of spicy, like chicken, buffalo ranch kind of thing, I know you're going to make this, because how easy is it to take a little bit of panko breadcrumbs, mix a little hot sauce in and some butter, and then use that as your breading with ranch dressing for your chicken. It's ingenious and super, super easy. The chicken was juicy and it had great flavor. Of course, Jake dunked his chicken into extra ranch, but I put the carrots on the side and the potatoes on the side, and he ate that day, and then he had the rest for lunch the next day. But this was a super easy meal, you guys, and look how minimal the ingredients are. Now, minimal ingredients seems to be the theme for every plate, and whenever they have a shrimp dish offered as their meals for the week, I jump on it because I can't really have fish meals often. So here I have a zesty shrimp linguine, and it wasn't really spicy as it was more this really creamy tomato sauce over pasta with shrimp. So you need a garlic, lemon, aroma tomato, linguine pasta, some shredded Parmesan cheese, some cream cheese, and then the shrimp. That's it, you guys. That's all we need to make this recipe. So we're going to go ahead off by quartering and zesting our lemon. We're going to dice up 3 to 4 garlic cloves, and then you're also going to dice up your Roma tomato. In the meantime, you're going to get a pot of boiling water onto the stove, and do not forget to salt and add a little bit of olive oil to your water to give it good flavor and to prevent sticking. I broke my linguine in half and threw it into the pot to get that cooking. And then now we're going to go ahead and marinate our shrimp. So make sure you dry your shrimp really good. Really dry any of your meat because it does get packed in its juices. So once you dry your shrimp, you're going to throw it into a bowl with your garlic, your lemon zest, some olive oil, and some salt and pepper. And then once you get that all in, you're going to give it a good mix, and you're going to set that off to the side while your pasta is cooking, just so that that shrimp can absorb the lemon juice and the garlic and the salt and pepper. It's just going to create great flavor for when we throw it into the saucepan. And so in this saucepan, you need to watch your shrimp. They're only going to cook for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side, and you want to be really careful about it. As soon as they become pink and opaque like that, you want to pull them because shrimp can easily get rubbery if you leave it on the stove for too long. Once you're done, you're going to pour all of that into a bowl, and then now we're going to saute that creamy part of your sauce. So you're going to add the other half of your garlic, you're going to add some of that Roma tomato, and then I actually added the juice from that shrimp. It wasn't an instruction, but that's what I did just to give it a little bit of extra flavor. And then you're going to add that cream cheese, and it pulled together this really, really delicious sauce. Now it wants you to use the pasta water. I prefer to use all that juice that came in the shrimp. And then that's it, you guys. You're going to start mixing everything together, and it gets you this. I don't know why they call it zesty, because there really was nothing like zesty, quote unquote, about it, unless they're referring to the lemon portion of it, but not like a spicy. It was just a creamy, but very vibrant from the lemon, like tomato sauce, almost like a tomatoey, creamy based shrimp scampi. Yum, yum, yum. All right, sticking with the pasta and something else I meal prepped for Jake. You'd be surprised how much these things cater to my oldest also, and allows me to meal prep for him, if not for lunches, but for meals like dinner time that I know he won't eat. And this is Firehouse Mac and Cheese. So if you guys watch any of my grocery hauls or my what's for lunches, you know this literally screams my oldest also. And so we have 2 different kinds of cheese here. We have some milk, some Cholula, we have some cavatappi, some more panko breadcrumbs, we have a green pepper, we have some scallions, we have some garlic, and then more of that Frank's Red Hot seasoning blend. But we're doing the same thing with making those crumbs. So of course you can substitute for the Frank's Red Hot. So I have our pasta cooking right there, and then I have our scallions cut up and separated, the whites from the greens. I have our green pepper diced up, and of course our garlic. And then now we're just going to dump our pasta since it's ready to be cooked. Make sure you taste test your pasta so you have it al dente, especially if you're going to reheat it again later. You want it to make sure that it's not overcooked. In that same pot, I added in the olive oil and then those green peppers. We want to start by getting them cooked down. And then we're going to add in that garlic and start getting that all cooked and incorporated together, little things step by step. Now the white part of the green onions and getting that cooked down. You just want to cook it not all together because you want them to be thoroughly cooked separately. We're going to pull those from the pan and add 2 tablespoons of butter to that very same pan and then some flour. You want to make a roux and you're just going to keep mixing that flour in so you can see that it makes that butter good and thick. And then now we're going to take that milk and we're going to whisk it in slowly. So put it in until you see it thicken, put a little bit more in and stir till you see it thicken. This is another way to make an Alfredo, but they're making like a creamy sauce, like a cheese sauce for your macaroni. And so now we're putting in our 2 different kinds of cheese. You guys can go crazy with whatever cheese works for you. And then I'm going to put in those onions and the garlic and the green pepper, that little roasted mixture that we made, and then the pasta into that plate and then just mix it up. That's it. Now we're going to do the same thing with those crumbs. So we melted some butter. We're going to add the panko in, and then we're going to add in that Frank's Red Hot seasoning blend or Frank's Red Hot, whatever suits you. We're going to go ahead and mix that all together, and then we're going to sprinkle that on top of that macaroni and cheese. Now, if you want to put it in a casserole dish first and bake it in the oven so it gets that extra crisp, you can. I didn't want to throw my saucepan in there, but that's always an option if you want to do like an extra crisp to it. But then I just threw it in a bowl and I topped it with the green part of the green onion for him and left him that packet of Cholula for a little bit of extra heat. And he thought it was so good. He ate that whole bowl and he even wanted the next portion that night for dinner. And I was like, nope, that's going to be your lunch. But these things have come in clutch for lunches for my oldest. Now, something that comes in clutch for me is anything steak-wise, because I love myself a good steak, and I loved that this was a steak with a vegetable, and then instead of something carby, they're using bread. So this is the beef ranch steak with some thyme, some beef broth. We have a shallot and some garlic. We have some Brussels sprouts, and then we just have a ciabatta roll. That speaks to me. So we're going to start off by putting our Brussels sprouts on a sheet pan with a little bit of olive oil and some salt and pepper. And we're going to get those roasted in the oven. I've really been enjoying Brussels sprouts and I only get them from Every Plate because nobody else eats them. Now in my grill pan, I heated up a little bit of olive oil. I sprinkled each of the ranch steaks with salt and pepper and got them grilling. Once they were done and cooked in that same frying pan, I added a little bit of olive oil and then I added that shallot and thyme and mixed that up until the air just smelled so good. Then we're going to throw in that beef broth concentrate and a little bit of water and just kind of mix it together. And that's going to be your gravy that you're going to ladle over your steak. That's it, you guys. Simple recipe. That garlic was for you to dice up and put with some butter. I put the garlic and the butter in the microwave and heated them together. This way the butter melted with the garlic in the dish and kind of took on that garlic flavor. And then I cut the ciabatta bread into 4 pieces, basted it with that garlic and butter mixture, and then put it in the toaster oven till it was ready. Of course, I had to throw a little bit of extra carbs in there. And while I was cooking the kids' tater tots for lunch, I made some for mom because I'm a steak and potatoes kind of person. But that was my Brussels sprouts with a little piece of that garlic bread, some tater tots on the side, and then that shallot and thyme reduced mixture over the steak. Like, you guys, that looks like something out of a restaurant, and it was minimal ingredients that cost practically nothing from Every Plate. So here's something that was kind of like a throw-in. I couldn't decide for my third meal, and it was a shock to me. So this is a chicken sausage and tomato soup, and it was a lot different than I thought. Someone says tomato soup, I think thick and brothy, but that sweet Italian chicken sausage almost made like a chili soup. So you need the sausage, an onion, some garlic, aroma tomato, some tomato paste. You need couscous and some chicken broth, and then some Parmesan cheese. So now dice up your onion, your garlic, your aroma tomato. You always can adjust those flavors to what works best for your family. And then a little bit of olive oil in a saucepan. I always throw a few veggies in there, and if I see them sizzle, I know my oil is ready. And then you're going to throw in your onion and your garlic and cook that down, and then you'll throw in your ground sweet Italian chicken sausage and cook that down. You'll add the tomato paste and your Roma tomato and cook that down, and now we have that chili base. So we're going to throw in that Tuscan blend with a little bit of that chicken stock. So again, you can use chicken stock or this is a concentrate, but either way, and then that's it. You're going to bring it to a boil, and then once it boils, you'll add in that couscous, and that couscous is just going to help kind of thicken everything together. And so once the couscous is cooked all the way through, your soup is done. That's it. I was expecting more of like a creamy tomato soup kind of base, but being that this was more like a chili style, it was just so delicious. I didn't expect that brothiness to it, but then I add a little bit of Parmesan cheese to it, and it still had tons of bulk because it had the couscous on the inside and the sausage on the inside, but it was still brothy. So together, all of them together was just so good. I had this for lunch one day, and then the next day I had what was left with a half of grilled cheese sandwich. It was just so good. Sometimes these recipes really surprise me. I end up loving things that I never would have tried. I step out of my comfort zone, and then when I have minimal ingredients in the house but I'm hungry and want to spice something up, I know I can pull something together by just a few things that I have at home. All right, you guys, but that's it for this time's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. If you guys have made it all the way through, I really appreciate you. Again, I know some people are just not into these kinds of videos. They're not into this kinds of service, but I just love their recipes, you guys. Like, I love the idea of the butter, the panko breadcrumbs, and a little bit of hot sauce. Like, it is just a different way to change up chicken cutlets that I make all of the time. Like, I love the idea of making Jake a really quick Firehouse Mac and Cheese because I buy those mac and cheese bowls for him all of the time. So if I can meal prep it on my own, why would I not do that? So I just love these little hacks. I love trying their food. They're super inexpensive, and I love that it's minimal ingredients to create such a wonderful flavored meal. But again, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new. I love you guys all so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.